Hey fans, what's up? It's Gamer Guy 7 Aces here, back with another discussion video. This time I want to talk about something that I've been wanting to discuss for quite a while now, ever since somebody made this list. Comparing Super Mario 64 with Sonic Adventure. Now, I will be comparing the original versions. I'm not going to be comparing Super Mario 64 DS with Sonic Adventure DX. I'm not going to be comparing the remakes. The remakes, that's for another discussion. I'm comparing the original Mario 64 with the original Sonic Adventure. Now, both games came around the same time, kind of. Mario 64 came out in 1996, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure it's not 97, it's 96. And Sonic Adventure came out technically 1998 in Japan before it came out in America 1999. Now, a lot of people and critics favor Mario 64 more than Sonic Adventure. Mario 64 always gets this huge amount of praise, this huge amount of nostalgia, while Sonic Adventure is bashed on as a terrible game that aged poorly, is no longer good, was never good, people are just blinded with rose-tinted glasses. Now, I'm going to agree and disagree with this. I'm agreeing because, yes, Mario 64 has left a bigger legacy than Sonic Adventure. Mario 64 started a lot of things. It started the whole 3D platformer genre, the whole hub worlds and everything. Mario 64 was the first to start that. It was the first to do that. It's crazy how Mario 64 started off as an arcade platformer and completely reinvented itself in the 3D genre. Like, Sonic Adventure, I say this to a lot of people, was pretty much almost like classic Sonic games in 3D. It didn't change much except RPG elements, and I'll get to that later. But Mario completely reinvented itself into 3D. The funny thing is, if Sonic did that, Sonic would get bashed on. But Mario continuously innovates and reinvents itself, and people love it. And that's simply because Mario is such a standard, run-of-the-mill type of guy, type of character. You can pretty much mold him into anything. You can mold him into a kart game. You can mold him into a party game, a sports game, a fighting game, an RPG game. And Sonic, just the way he was created for the sole purpose of rivaling Mario. You can't really fit him in much boxes, because Sonic, anytime they veer off the gameplay or put Werehog or whatever, many people have a problem with it. So Sonic, he's not as malleable as Mario. That's a fact. But there is a huge bias with Mario 64 and Sonic Adventure. I just want to make myself clear on this. Both games haven't aged well in parts. Both games have kind of aged a little badly. I'm just going to say right there, Mario 64, I had fond memories of it, but when I played it again, it's too slippery. I don't like the physics. It reminds me, I don't like the physics of Mario 64 like I don't like the physics of the original Super Mario Brothers 1. I think Mario controls way better in the future games like in Galaxy, Odyssey, 3D World. And Sonic Adventure actually has great controls, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. I want to go down this list. I'm pretty sure a lot of you people are familiar with this list. It started on Reddit. A lot of people have shared it on Twitter. So let's get started with that. Now, before I start on this, even though Mario 64 started the whole 3D genre platforming, Sonic Adventure really did some things that other games didn't do, like took RPG elements, was very story based for a platformer game. So but let's start with this list. Now the first one, there's 9 points here. The first point is Mario 64 was developed for new hardware, and Sonic Adventure was developed for new hardware. Now, I can agree on this. Obviously, Mario 64 came out on Nintendo 64, Sonic Adventure came out on the Sega Dreamcast. The second part is Mario 64. This guy writes, controls so clunky it ruins the experience for a lot of people. Sonic Adventure, controls are extremely responsive and satisfying to use. Now, I will admit, I have never played the original Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast because I've never owned a Dreamcast. I just remember going to a friend's house and watching him play Sonic Adventure. I dabbled a bit in it, but I've only played Sonic Adventure through the DX version. Most people have only played Sonic Adventure through DX. So I'm not going to compare DX with Adventure because it's clear a lot of people have complained that DX has some glitches and control issues that Adventure didn't. So I can't really speak much for this, but I'm going to defend Mario's part. Yes, I did say the game aged poorly with a couple things, not just the graphics and his controls, but this person says controls so clunky, it ruins the experience for a lot of people. Not really. It didn't ruin the experience for me. I had fond memories of Mario 64. It's just when I played that game again, after all the 3D Mario games we've gotten, it it's not the best controlled Mario game, but it never ruined the experience for me. The level design catered towards the way Mario controlled. I say the only two things that annoyed me was how Mario will slip if he's trying to climb up a huge slope, or his fall damage. He takes fall damage. That's about it. I don't really agree with this person that he controls clunky and ruins the experience. The camera worked stupendously for Mario 64. That was the first time you can have cameras controls for every angle in a 3D platformer. I like it how they made it look like it's Lakitu who was controlling the camera. Sonic Adventure had camera issues, but that's actually in the next part. But yeah, so what I want to ask you people who grew up with Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast, were the controls extremely responsive, or was it like Sonic Adventure DX? Because I don't want to talk about that. I know some of you might be wondering, then why are you making this video? I just want to compare what this person says and see if they're right. Now, Sonic Adventure DX had control issues, especially that infamous loop-de-loop in Emerald Coast that Game Grumps and Aaron were exploiting. You can fall through it and fall to your death. A lot of people said that's a DX exclusive glitch. So yeah, so I can't really give either game a point because I know Mario 64, but I never played Adventure. Now the next point is, for Mario 64, camera controls are just as clunky as regular controls. And Sonic Adventure, camera can get stuck, but it's easy to fix. Now, I know when I played DX, I had little to no input with the camera. I mean, I had more input with the camera than, let's say, Sonic Generations and the Mario Boost games, but yeah, I don't know what this person's talking about. The camera controls were not clunky in Mario 64. You could always control the camera and snap back. So yeah, I'm going to have to defend Mario 64 on that. But yeah, the next point is for Mario 64. So buggy that you can skip almost all of the game using glitches. Sonic Adventure, some minor bugs, only resulting in death if deliberately triggered. So okay, Mario 64 is so buggy that you can skip almost all of the game using glitches. Really? I mean, unless if you're watching those super skilled MLG pro gamers that can abuse glitches and skip majority of the game, that's about it. I do know that staircase glitch, people can use that to skip and go all the way to the final boss Bowser without playing any of the levels on the top level of the tower, but that's about it. This person is exaggerating. He says so buggy that you can skip almost all of the game. That's a huge lie. You don't just jump into the castle and then you play the last level. And Sonic Adventure, I doubt that it has minor bugs. He basically completely ignored all the other problems Sonic Adventure has. So alright, the next point is, Mario 64 only has a few songs that keep getting repeated. Sonic Adventure, different songs for everything, and all of them are good. Now, I can definitely give this point to Sonic Adventure. Now, all of them are good. That is hugely subjective. Music is very subjective. You cannot just say everything is good. I personally don't like the soundtrack for Sonic Adventure 2 at all. It's way too butt rock heavy. But that's my opinion. Music is subjective. But I will agree that Mario 64 has only a few songs and it gets repeated a lot. That's the thing with Mario. Mario repeats a lot of its tracks ever since the old days. With the 2D platformers, there's always the main theme, the athletic theme, the ghost theme, the boss theme, and those get recycled. Every now and then you might get a new level theme, and that was the same way in 3D World. Now with Mario Odyssey, that one was actually different. They actually had different tracks for every world, and I love that. It reminded me of Galaxy, and Galaxy did the same thing too, but usually Mario games do recycle a lot of their songs. Now the next point is Mario 64 didn't even attempt to have a unique story or any cutscenes. Sonic Adventure attempted to be more cinematic, using an original story and cutscenes, true. Sonic has always been more about story than Mario. We all know this for a fact. I mean, look at the comics. So yeah, this person definitely values story in his games more than anything, and Mario just, that's just something Mario consistently doesn't do. Even Mario Odyssey, story is always just a side thing. So alright, the next point is Mario 64 has inconsistent game design. I don't know what he means by game design. I don't know this level design. But Sonic Adventure, inconsistent game design. Okay, so he's saying both of them have inconsistent game design. Okay, he's going to need to clarify on that, because Sonic Adventure pretty much had standard levels, like you had your beach level, Emerald Coast. You had the highway level, Speedway Highway, like a city level. You had your lava level, like Lava Reef, Red Mountain, or whatever. You had what else? Come on, what else was it? You had Casinopolis, your casino level. You had an airplane level. You know, you had a lot of different levels. You had your Mystic Ruins level. That's why I said a lot of the themes were from classic games. So inconsistency, this guy must not have played the classic Sonic games. As for Mario 64, I mean, it's Mario. Mario's always had wacky worlds jumping into pictures, but it still had the standard grassy type of level, you know, the first level. It also had snow level, desert level, what else? Jungle level, I think, yeah, water level. I mean, and it gave even more flair to them. Like the water level was like an abandoned pirate ship cove with that scary looking Eos. So I disagree with him on both points. Both games had consistent game design, especially that they were the first 3D games of their franchises. They pretty much borrowed a lot from their 2D games, because I mean, what else were they going to take from? Now the next point, he says, Mario 64, almost every aspect of the game has aged poorly. Sonic Adventure, cutscenes have aged poorly. So what this person is saying, that besides the cutscenes of Sonic Adventure, the game has not aged terribly at all. But Mario 64 has aged badly. That is extreme bias. I mean, are we forgetting Big the Cat or Amy Rose gameplay? Now I love Gamma's gameplay. I like his gameplay more than the mech shooting levels in Adventure 2. But I mean, even Sonic Tails Knuckles gameplay, it does show some signs of age, but they're still very fun to play. Same thing as Mario 64, his levels are very fun to play, but they show some age. So this person obviously does not like Mario, and he's saying almost every aspect of Mario 64 has aged poorly. That is a huge lie, in my opinion. Just like what I said before, both games have aged badly in some areas, but they're still pretty fun. Sonic Adventure has some huge problems with Big the Cat's gameplay, and you have to play that if you want to get to the final story. Mario 64 doesn't have that issue. It's just Mario throughout. You don't play as other characters. And I'm not talking about 64 DS. Even then, you can still switch unless you want to 100% the game. Now, the last point he says is Mario 64 was received very well when it came out, and Sonic Adventure was received very well when it came out, but released only 2 years later. So yeah, both games were definitely received well. Mario 64 got stellar reviews. I don't remember what reviews it got, but it got nearly perfect scores. I'm going to look at the original scores on Wikipedia here. But yeah, Sonic Adventure got good scores too, but it mostly got like in the B range. But I'm going to make sure, because I never really bothered to look at the old reviews, but Mario 64 had accolades. Yeah. Its grade game rankings was like a 96.41%, 94%, you know, average. Whereas Sonic Adventure, now I gotta be specific because DX got lower reviews. Sonic Adventures got an 87%. Yeah, so Sonic Adventure was a solid B, very good B. While Mario 64 is a solid A. Do I disagree with the scoring? Not really, because yes, both games have their flaws, but Mario 64 is consistently Mario. Sonic Adventure, I love Sonic's gameplay. I really love Tails, and I like Knuckles. Gamma's nice too, but I don't like Amy, and I despise Big. Now his conclusion is Mario 64 made the transition into 3D flawlessly according to the critics, whereas Sonic Adventure, we all know Sonic had a rocky start in 3D. I definitely agree with him on that. It's like people are blinded nowadays and say, oh yeah, Sonic has always had a rocky beginning in 3D, but Mario transitioned flawlessly. Now yes, Sonic had a rocky transition to 3D, you know, from Mario 3D Blast, from Sonic 3D Blast to Sonic Jam, the canceled Sonic Extreme. Sonic had a terrible transition to 3D, but Sonic Adventure was pretty good. Mario 64, Mario never really had a transition to 3D, just bam, Mario 64. So yeah, and now he says critics call it the industry standard, whereas the adventure games are inherently bad. I must admit, Mario 64 did set the standard for 3D games. After this, we had a whole bunch of collectathons. I mean, from Banjo-Kazooie to Croc to all other types of 3D games, even up to this day. Even Lego games borrowed heavily from Mario 64. I don't really see much platformer games copying Sonic. And if they did, they didn't do it successfully, like Bubsy. The last point he makes here is critics say every Mario game is perfect, and Sonic was never good. Now this is also a huge generalization. Every critic does not say every Mario game is perfect. I've seen Mario games with low scores, but yes, the general consensus is that Mario games are mostly well received from critics, whereas a lot of people, like, that stupid IGN video where they said Sonic was never good. So I do agree with the quotes, because he actually gets real quotes from critics, but in this whole post he's making it look like Mario 64 is a bad game, Sonic Adventure is the better game, but critics are biased. I do agree, critics are biased, but Mario 64 was a pretty good game, is a better game than he gives it credit for, and it did leave a longer legacy than Sonic Adventure. So what is my verdict on here? I'm not trying to say which game aged better, I'm not trying to say which game is better than the other, or which game aged better. They both kind of aged, the same way to me. But if I had to be completely honest, like if I had a gun to my head to say which game has aged better for the masses, I would go for Mario 64, because Sonic Adventure is like, you have to be a Sonic fan or appreciate Sonic to really enjoy Sonic Adventure. Otherwise, I would not introduce Sonic Adventure to a newbie. I would rather, when it comes to 3D games, I would rather introduce him to Sonic Generations or Sonic Colors and all that stuff, not Adventure, And Mario 64, yes, I would definitely introduce Mario 64 to a newbie who wanted to play the first 3D game, but I mostly would introduce him to Mario Odyssey and Mario Galaxy, to be completely honest. Or 3D World if he grew up on the 2D games and wants a 3D 2D hybrid. But yeah, so that's my verdict on them. I'm not going to say which game is better than the other because they both have their flaws, but Mario 64 is more accessible with the general audience than Sonic Adventure. So what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts in this video. Please let me know what you think, because this is a very interesting topic. Very opinionated too with a lot of people. And yeah, be sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button if you want to see me do more videos like this. Let me know, because the next video I want to do with this is Mario Odyssey versus Sonic Unleashed. Oh yes, because a lot of the dev teams from Sonic Unleashed worked on Mario Odyssey, and I really want to compare those games. So alright, let me know what you guys think. But yep, take care, and until next time, swag out.